Hey, morning, everyone. Just haven't had a chance to look at the charts before 8, so quickly just denoting them before 8:30's NFP event. So right now, what I'm looking for is buy side and sell side, obvious levels. We got a daily VI right here, daily volume bound. Yeah, there's also. Right, so we got, I still really like the liquidity above us, kind of going back to a weekly chart. You know, price has been pushing into this bullish order block here, right? That I'm noting with my cursor. And see here, this is really cool actually. It actually traded to the midpoint. And then right now it's right to the tick there. See? Now it's pushing off of it. For NFP, what would I want to see? We have sell side below us. That's the next level of liquidity. These equal to relative lows. These lows technically aren't equal anymore, right? But we do still have some liquidity here sitting below us, so I'm not too concerned about that. So we'll have to see what 830 does and how it just disrupts the market. Impossible to forecast what it's going to do. But from a 1 hour perspective, you can see here, where do we open up at? Friday. Right, so here's the midnight open. We essentially kind of dropped down a bit, came back up, sitting around the midnight open. We're going to map it out in a second on the 1 minute. But all in all, this is, we also have, buy side liquidity here above us. We'll see what price does. All right, let's clean some of this up here. What would happen? So the only PD array right now that we're looking at, or that we have on our charts, is the first fair value gap of January of 2025. It's the one here in purple. We're kind of trading back into it. It's actually interesting how, we are gyrating around it all the time. I might make it a bit lighter so we're aware of it, but I don't want it to be affecting our trades too much. Okay. Today is the 10th, so the new day opening gap for the 10th is where? Might be this one right here. I'm very surprised that I decided to classify it right there. With the new day opening gap from, it's actually a weird one because the market's closed at 9:29 yesterday and they opened up today yesterday at 6 o'clock. So that's our new day opening gap. Some small rejections to it. Just looking at it retrospectively. But I'm not seeing any major respect to it. So one more thing I want to look at for today, and I'm going to start looking at it every single time we trade, is going to be it's something that I learned in the 2025 lecture. It's going to be the midnight open. So the midnight open is the following. it's the first 30 minutes after the true open of NQ, which is midnight. And what it is, it's the range of it. So it's the lowest low and the highest high. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, for today's session, we're going to extend this right. And we're going to paint this color that we don't usually use for anything else. Maybe this color. And we're going to call this the opening range. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this so it doesn't move for the rest of the day. The way you lock things, if you guys don't know, is just click on lock and it prevents me from moving it accidentally. Morning, Dell. Has anyone here had a chance to review or watch any of the 2025 stuff that ICT put out? And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a fib against this as well. We've got 0.75, 0.25. Then we have negative 2.5 we don't need. We have negative 0.5. Let's make this black. 1.5. Let's make this black. We've got negative 1. That's 1 standard deviation. And the last level that we're looking at is going to be negative 1.5 and negative 2 or 2. All right, so here is our deviations. And let's see our price is going to be respecting these levels here. I'm going to lock this as well so it doesn't shift on me. Price reverse bang on the second deviation from the New York range, from the New York morning range today. Are you talking about like the midnight range that I have right here? There you go. That looks good. We can see here price kind of opened up. Let's also map the first fair value gap here that formed right there. Okay. We're also going to make it this like yield color. We're going to call this the first fair value gap midnight open. I hate cluttering my charts, but because you guys are building this with me, it shouldn't be as messy to see this moving forward. Let's go turn off my ringer here. Okay, that looks good. And let's lock this as well. I realize if I don't lock them, they tend to move as I maneuver through the charts. Okay. So we've got the midnight opening range, the first fair value gap after the midnight open. Is that the first fair value gap of the midnight open? It's the first displacement. Okay. There are fair value gaps, but ICT said that we can use like first displacement after, which is right here. So you can see here, price opened up, hit 0.5, came to the downside. I probably got here to a really deep level, 2, 3, maybe even 4. And then once it cleared it to the upside here, you can see it use it as support. It went definitely higher than -1 to the upside. We punched back below it, using the tops as support here. Now we're currently sitting below the midnight opening range. And this first fair value gap that happened after the midnight open. Just trying to see how it's respected moving forward. Like you can see the bodies and the wicks are kind of staying within it as it's passing by, but I'm seeing nothing too material. That's really catching my eye here. Like you can see here, the bodies managed to stay within the the first fair value gap after midnight before dropping lower, but we'll see what price is going to be doing at 8:30. So price reversed bang on the second deviation from the midnight morning range today. Yeah, right here. Yeah, exactly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this purple line here. I delete this? Okay. So just to keep our charts clean, I'm going to have the first fair value gap of the month only show on the 15-second. And we'll have the midnight opening range show here with its deviation levels. All right, after 7 o'clock, that's when the algo starts to kick in. So let's see what we have after 7. You can see here, massive push lower, turning around on the lower half. Look at this, guys. This is really interesting. Price right now at 818. It touched perfectly. Look at this. Almost perfect. The bottom of the second standard deviation to the downside of the midnight opening range, and now it's pushing back to the upside. This is things that we want to see, but looking at the 1 hour on the 15-minute, let me clear some stuff here. Move drawings, okay. So, you can see here price is very messy since Wednesday. Price is essentially moving sideways since Wednesday. You have buy side above us. We had all this buy side here that was taken out earlier today. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We had essentially 4 highs of resting liquidity. Price just took it out right now. It's pushing to the downside. We've got these relative equal lows below us as well. This is all liquidity here, right? Here's like interim level liquidity. And what NFP is going to do, it's probably going to spike both sides. But usually the first side that it spikes is the incorrect side before it starts moving into the other side. So let's see. If I am going to take something today, it's going to be 15 minutes after 8:30. I'll wait for the market to cool down a bit. But let's see if something obvious kicks in today for a nice trade. You can see price right now, it pushed up into the first fair value gap of midnight. It touched the midpoint. It also touched the new day opening gap, and it pulled down from there. See what other news we have today. So we have NFP, and I think that's about it. And then we got some orange news at 10 o'clock based on Forex Factory. If you guys don't have a chance to review the 25 mentorship, I am going to be applying the concepts if any new ones get illustrated by ICT. So the only new one really that I haven't really used before is like the midnight opening price and creating narrative off of it or having it support your price. Like would I ever be trade into the opening price and trading through the first fair value up at midnight? I think that's something that's going to prevent my trades moving forward. I think you may need to adjust the fib to the top of the. Is it incorrect? I'm going to double check here. Yeah, it's slightly off. Let's see here. There you go. Is that better, Adele? It's slightly off. Block, and I'm also going to fix this as well. Up to the swing. So, oh, hold on. No, you're right. You're right. I'm incorrect about this. This shifted on me. Hold on. I'm gonna redo this quickly. Thanks for noting that. Actually, that's 12:30 there. I had this incorrectly drawn. Unlock. There you go. So the low to the high. That would have been unfortunate if I traded against that. Good eye there, good eye. Okay, let me lock this. Let's draw the fibs out. Okay, lock, there you go. So now looking at, yeah, it's just interesting how price is respecting the 2 standard deviation to the downside here. And to the upside. As well. Okay. I might make these all gray just to have some variation on my chart with other lines. Hey, it's Brill. Doing well yourself? All right, 5 minutes on NFP, guys. Would not recommend trading the next 15 minutes. It's going to be chaos. But let's try to predict at least what price might do, okay? So here on the 1 hour of denoted, obvious levels of buy side and sell side. We got sell side below us, buy side above us. Okay. Right now we're trading below the midnight opening range. So this is a new range that we'll see with standard deviations. I hate how messy it created my chart now. Something I'm not in love with. The The red point here is the midpoint. Just an FYI. Today's end dog is sitting right there. It's within the first fair value gap after the midnight open. So this is a very strong level that, so sorry, it's not the first fair value gap, it's the first displacement after 12:30, after midnight, after 12. And like, if I wanted to trade this environment, I wanted to spike lower and then shoot higher. That'd be nice. Because the daily looks messy. The only relative equal lows are these two right here that I'm seeing as a possible draw, you know, to the downside. If we were to go to the downside, this would be the draw on liquidity right there. But what's really catching my eye on the intraday and on the 1 hours is all of these upper sides of buy side liquidity, like these three levels here. Like once we hit this could be the next draw, and then once we hit that, that's gonna be the next draw. Very obvious, but we'll see, right? Okay, 3 minutes till NFP. Do not blow your accounts today, guys. It's the easiest day to blow your accounts, or it's the easiest day to make a lot of money, but usually it's blow your accounts. Sometimes NFP just runs in one direction, and sometimes it just goes whipsaws both. And no matter if you're long or short, you're out. Okay, you can see some volumes getting into the market right now. These candles are getting bigger and bigger, and they're moving more aggressively. This is the trade. This is the day that I lost money in. This was, you can see it. This is called seek and destroy, where highs and lows were just being taken over and over again. Like once a high got breached, it took the low, and once a low got breached, it took the high. If you know that you are in this kind of environment, it's easier to trade because then you start looking for reversals right after highs and start targeting new lows. But if you don't know that we're in this condition, you will lose money until you figure out that we're in seek and destroy conditions. So this is probably the toughest market that we'll get caught up in. If they start happening, then it's most likely we lose money or break even if we're lucky. And you can see here after, like on Wednesday, you know, price is a lot smoother. It's ranging from high to low, and it's not just jaggedness with wicks. It's still moving sideways, but it's because of NFP. So price right now is sticking to the lower half of the midnight opening range. And there's NFP, boys and gals. Okay, so sell side is being attacked. Could you have taken a short here? Oh my gosh, it could be a pure gamble. But let's see here. So price took out sell side. Classic, yeah. It's interesting because look, the new week, or the first fair value gap of the year, of January, is coinciding with this fair value gap here. So you can see confluence factors are lining up, and we were below all these levels. So it looks like price, you know, picked it down first. Where is it trading to next? Okay, if it continues going down, it's gonna be this level right here. What is this level that I marked here? It should be the equal. Yeah, it's right here, the liquidity. That's like the next draw on liquidity if we're going down, and then if we continue going lower, then we'll plot out the next low. But is NFP taking the wrong side of the market right now? Like the retailers? It could be, right? It's just grabbing liquidity for a higher push later on. Right, so it created a massive SIBI to the downside here, this NFP candle. Right now it's pushing up into it. It can continue going long from here, don't get me wrong, or it just might retrace to the midpoint or below it and start pushing even lower and tagging this low here. So nothing tradable, right? Nothing tradable. It was nice yesterday that we didn't trade. Having a day off from the markets, that's not the weekends. Okay, price continuing to push to the downside here. It looks like it's going to tag that next level, that next low right here that's sitting here. Right now I'm trying to find the 2024 lecture that ICT talked about on NFP and its 2024 mentorship. I'm just trying to figure out which of these landed on NFP. So NFP would have been September the 6th. Found it. Okay. So here's some of my notes on an example of NFP that happened 3 months ago. If we'd like to do like a quick study here. Hopefully this is big enough, guys. Sorry. We can see here at 8:30, you know, price opened up on this NFP, retraced all the way back to the fair value that it created on the 1 minute chart. And then it pushed, you know, started pushing higher at 9:30, right? So you can see it pushed in the direction, came back down, retraced, and then it continued going higher, right? But I see sometimes the opposite where it creates it and then it just continues going the other way. So, but this was some really nice price action. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this, here's some of my notes of a trade he took. It was I think a silver bullet. Let's see here. Price is taking out, it took out this low here. Okay. Let's see how it's going to react to the midpoint of this wick here from the NFP candle. I'm just going to draw a line like that. Here's the midpoint. we're 6 minutes past NF, the news. Here is a SIBI here. Let's see how it's going to react to it, just for price reading or tape reading perspective. If it breaks above these two levels here, you might see a push higher. But overall, the order flow is lower. I'm just looking for TP rates that are being broken that may be taking price to the upside. We got a SIBI right there as well. Okay, so price broke to the upside here. Past pushed the midpoint. It's coming back down. Let's see how it's going to close. The bodies is going to stay above this. It's technically inversion, or is it going to continue pushing lower? How many handles was this move to the downside today? 250. You can see the body here close to the upside of the inversion. Next one started pushing lower again. In 27 seconds, we'll see how this body closes relative to this IVG on this midpoint here of this gap. I'm going to take a little tiny long if this closes above the midpoint. I'm going to risk a 1 mini. Just liking these reactions here. Okay. I'm just basing the fact that I can't pass it for some reason. See here. Okay. I'll be trading to these highs rating. I'm in the trade. See if I'm right or wrong on it. This is NFP trading, guys. This is low prop. I'm gonna break even very quick on this. I'm already pushing my stop loss here below the. I'm managing it on the 1 minute, but I'm gonna move my stop loss to here most likely, right below this version. I don't want to see it go back down there. My risk right now is $92. My gain here is going to be $450. I'm trading on all 5 accounts. I am. So price right now is below this, the midpoint of this candle, that candle. Should I hold it longer? Gosh. I'll just trade to the end. What to do? See, sometimes I don't know what the target is. Do I take the save target of 450 at 3 to 1 essentially? Okay. I am going to see what's going to happen if I target the midpoint here. 2, 3. I'm essentially almost at break even. I have only $44 for risk. My stop loss is right. This is where my stop loss is. Hey, good morning. Super Bartek. All right, price pushing to the upside. I've got a partial sitting right here. So here's my trade right now that I'm holding for. I have a partial sitting above this high here. The moment it touches into the new day opening gap, then I'll see if I can take it higher. Finish this morning. I am done. Wow. Awesome. Good job, man. I'm going to break even soon on my trade. So my stop loss right now is sitting right here, right below the open of the candle. And that's where I took it. So right now, here's how the trade can take place. It's either I break even on it if it comes back down, or I make money if it decides to turn around. If it retraces this low, that means price is pushing past this bullish order block that we have here. This area right here is balanced on the 1 minute. It's just some notes, like this area right here is a balanced price range. Price shouldn't break below it. And if it does, I don't think it should wick below these two bodies that I have here as bullish order blocks. You can see here price reached into this balanced area. It wicked above. Price opened up lower, creating a small VI here. I'd want it to see it break this volume imbalance, like trade into it and go higher. Looks like the VI. We'll see what happens. But usually when price gaps like that, goes up and then starts trading lower. Not a good sign. Okay, price pushed into these bullish order blocks, at least the bodies of them. The most sensitive one is the higher one, pushing out to the upside. My stop loss right now is I have $8 in profit right now. That's where my stop loss is. The moment it breaks this, I'm out. But I think right now, my confidence is dropping on this trade. This has to be the turning point. If it's not, then we're wrong. Price is attempting to do an instant rebalance here to the wick of this candle here, and it's pushing which way? So price pushed to the midpoint of this candle here, right? Gap in the market. It's respecting it. For this trade to work out, it needs to push up higher than this. Today's NFP day, so we'll see what price wants to do here. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Possum. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. You gotta try to have your stop loss behind as much shit as possible here. So right now my stop's here. Like the moment it breaks this candle to the downside, trade's done. I've locked in $29 per account right now. Should I partial here at the high? Technically I should. But this might be the play. Like this might be the bottom of the entire move for the rest of the day. But we will see. And this is the closest thing to nirvana for traders. Being in a trade at break even, and it really has two options. Either it takes you out for nothing or it hits profit. And it looks like I'm out. Unfortunate. I really thought it would pump higher. Okay, attempt one, didn't work. Could you imagine it just took out these lows here before going higher? Could be a possibility. But then again, this is not PA that I would be re-entering on. Okay. You can see here, guys, how you can use these inversions and how they get respected. Just because one creates doesn't mean that you should trade off of it. I see money taking big money. Yeah, definitely. Today's going to be, people get their heads cut off on NFP day. The price came down to the midpoint of this wick again, reversed. And we'll see if it's going to create a price higher or a leg higher. Yeah. This is not a fun day to trade. But sometimes we get clean setups, right? So price went all the way to the inversion fair value gap here on the 1 minute. It rejected it. It's pumping higher. If I left my stop loss where it was, I would still be in this trade. But I'm not in love with this price action here. So it took out the high, came lower, grabbed the lows, filled in this inversion completely, right, with the wick. Price right now is traded to the midpoint of this inversion. Let's see how it's going to react. Right now, we're at the 850 macro for the day. Yeah, I don't use view op. Just ICT. In my opinion, all indicators are lagging. Just raw price action is the best form. You can see the body of this candle. It stopped right at the midpoint. But now you can see price pushing below this inversion fair value gap. You do have like a bullish order block here, but as of right now, there's nothing interesting that, or at least for me, is wanting to take price to the upside. Let's map this now. Let's map yesterday's close. Again, yesterday's going to be a weird close, but it's definitely above us. I won't even. Yeah, let's map it. Okay. Yesterday's close was this is Wednesday's close at 414. So here, I'm not sure what close to use. If I should use Wednesday's close or, but you know what? We have to do a custom close today. So days like this, ICT did not talk about how to create a close when the market closes in the morning like it did yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to see exactly where it closed yesterday. On Thursday, this is where the market closed yesterday. And 929, right there. So right at the bottom of the midnight opening range, at the fair value gap. So a possible like midpoint right now would be, you know, here. So like, this is how I would classify the opening range. It's trading hours according to, or hold on, regular trading hours. But according to regular trading hours, 414. So to be honest, I think let's use the RTH gap here. So price settled on Wednesday at 1440. Okay. All right. So we're going to open up to the downside here. We make it a, yeah, power 3 macro to the upside. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like longs here are going to make money. Again, sell side's been taken. We do have targets to the downside, but if it turns from here, I'd be okay. Power 3 macro, guys, something like this. This is what I would want today's candle to look like. This is the night. This is like, think of this as a 930 open. I want it to show some kind of Judah to the downside. And then ultimately, if we're correct on onside, if you take a long underneath the open and it's going to be a bullish day, then you're going to make a lot of money. Oopsies. I'm also personally looking at XRP. I got a second tab here. I don't really use ICT's teachings on XRP. Inverted 1 minute fair. Yeah, Del, exactly. And it's like either you're wrong right after the open or you're right. But if you're right, it's like and if you manage to hold it for the rest of the day and like your bias is correct, it's going to at least attack this buy side. You're holding the trade for you manage to get a 400 handle around, that would be insane. But you're making thousands of dollars. Or you're like down 1% or whatever your risk is. So you guys know XRP, there's a lawsuit that might get finally closed off on the 15th. And if that happens, like this is based on ICT's teachings, it's very bullish price action, right? Lower half of the fair value gap here on the weekly is not traded too. It's creating relative equal highs here. They might dump a couple more thousand today into XRP before the 15th, and then Trump's going in office on the 20th, and that's going to be the first party that's going to be pro crypto in the history of the United States. And also Trump did say that XRP is one of the 6 cryptos that won't be taxed on capital gains tax. So this is my I'm funneling all of my wins into XRP now. Okay. Price is moving sideways since 840 for the last 20 minutes. It hasn't done much. If I held this trade, they probably would have tagged me out right there. Look at that. That stop line right there before pushing higher. So is this high resistance? No, because fair value gaps are being formed. That is picking sides. This is more of seek and destroy type behavior over the last 20 minutes. But right now, I think what we need to wait for is a 930 open. Because if you manage to take a trade pre 930, and assuming you're on side, you got to hope to God that you're not going to get wicked out at the 930 open. If we're looking at power of 3 at the 930, like there's always some kind of Judah to downside before it starts printing up. This may have been the Judah, like the 830. But right now, this is just chop, in my opinion. Once price slices through the midnight open, so like let's say like we do get up here and I see a clear slice above here, that's an indication that we're going long from here. So that's something that I'm gonna use as a bias or confirm a trade entry once we get past this level, which is going to be news highs essentially, and then I'm gonna start attacking the first level of buy side here. Like if I do get a trade here, I'm gonna be holding it strong till 446. Now let's try to paint, let's play devil's advocate here. If price were to go down, where would it go? So it's these relative equal lows here. That might be if this is the Judah to this level here, I'm gonna be looking for longs from this level here. That would be, I think, ideal with Judah 150 points to the downside and then start pushing up and taking buy sides. We also have these lows here. Something to watch out for. This is something that price might be seeking further. This is phantom trend line to the upside, but this is all liquidity here. Okay. So like these relative equal lows are going to be something to watch out for as well. But it's always good to paint both sides of the market so we understand, you know, if it were lower, where can it go? If not, so we're always looking for like, if this, then what, right? And we're looking for the breadcrumbs on the 1 minute chart to start showing a possible reaction and inversion of price, like it did here, right? Price failed to break the midpoint of this inversion once, twice. Bodies are sitting in the upper quadrant of this inversion. And that was a telltale sign that it's either going to plummet down really fast, but chances are 60 out of 40, it's going to push higher. And, you know, price did, you know, get to like a 2-to-1 for me, but it wasn't even midpoint to my initial target. So unfortunately, no partials were taken. Yeah, but smart traders here, we're waiting. 29 minutes till open. Does anyone here trade crypto? Really boring PA. Also, something I want you guys to know is when we look at clustering of new day and new week opening gaps, look at where we're at right now in the market. Is there any new day opening gap below us? No. Are they all above us? Yes. What does that mean? If you were to guess which way the direction of price would go, in my opinion, I think I'd be aiming up because of all this gapping. This is all a giant magnet for price to pull to. So here's like another, against breadcrumb that we're using to form an idea on longs or shorts. I don't even think I'm interested in longs today, or sorry, in shorts. You can see price. What did it do? It took out another low here. We got some buy side, sitting here. Equal relative highs. This might be like the next attack on short-term liquidity before 930 hits. But right now, just buy sides and sell sides are being taken. There's an inversion here. Right. Yes. Price reject to the upside, to the downside. Now we're sitting above it. Price might go back down, tap it, take this high out, consolidate a bit more before 930. But nothing here is worth trading. How many handles is this? 40 handles. It's a lot, but like zooming out on the 1 minute, we're in consolidation right now. You can see here, like this volume imbalance that I marked in red here from this downward push. You can see how price with its wicks is respecting it here. It kind of pushed up to it. Looks like this might be, price just close above this. It might hit these equal relative highs above us right now in the interim. All right, looks like it's pushing aggressively. It's going to hit this target most likely in the next couple of seconds. It left a relative equal high here if it does push lower. All right, price just pushed down. It's trying to do an instant rebalance right now. It might leave small fair value gap right here if price closes in 40 seconds like this. So do watch out for that, but most likely I think price is going to hit this high here. Looks like it did it. Wow. Let's see how price is going to react to this volume imbalance here. You can see on the 15-second chart here, I pushed down to this BISI. Bodies are still staying above it, which is good. It mohawked slightly below it here. I think this is the push here to the upside. This is only 8 bars, guys. You guys are trying to scalp this. It'd be questionable, but just looking at 50-second price action here, it came back down, touched the high of the BISI. And it's tapped. So you can see the 15 second shows you a lot more clarity in price action. Like if you're trying to see a move here, even if there's such a bearish 1 minute candle going to the downside, you got to try and figure out what's price trying to do. And sometimes the 15 second shows you clarity on that, like it did here. So that liquidity has been taken. And right now, price might just be going back down here. The 950 to 1010 macro is going to finish in 3 minutes. Was 950 down here? No, it wasn't. Yeah, so still regardless, still consolidating. It is making moves. It's taking lower lows and higher highs. It's just taking both sides of the markets right now. As I said before, like 20 minutes ago, like seek and destroy type price action, where it's taking one low and then the other. It really hurts to see something like this where direction looks like I was right on the reversal, but it's just the timing wasn't right there. I would have been wrong regardless if I held my stop loss at original position. Maybe if I had a lower, I'd still be in the trade, but on NFP, it's not something that I want to gamble on. It was like a very quick move stop loss to break even trade. Price right now is going to be pushing into the 1 minute SIBI that we have marked here in red on the 1 minute chart. Let's see how it's going to react from it. I don't see any, like, personally, I wouldn't be taking anything until 9:30 here. We passed the lows here. We're going to be trading into resistance. I'm going to be waiting for some secondary Judah after the 9:30 and trying to take it long if I am trading today. Okay, price almost touched the end dog of 1.3. That's last week's on Friday, new day opening gap. It's something that I like to see as signatures in the market. Trading like relative equal highs and relative equal lows is, if you have relative equal highs, like something like this on the charts, like just below, like if price decides to turn from here and it goes back up and it creates like another high and then it turns lower, this kind of target where you have relative equal highs sitting right below a new day opening gap, it's a very like high quality target to aim for a trade. Okay. Because it has the end dog as the pull and it has equal level highs as the pull. So if you guys see PA like that, it's a really good level to target. So something like this here, it technically created relative equal highs here on the 15 second. You can kind of see it on the 1 minute. Let's see price drops from here lower. And if it does, then this would be something nice to see for possible longs in 15 minutes. Price right now is meandering around the end dog here. So if you guys are trading right now from now till 9:30, just ask yourselves: are these high quality setups that you're taking? Is this the time that you should be trading in? Right? Time then price. ICT has showed us many windows of time that we should be trading in, right? They act as superchargers to price. And right here, we're on NFP after a huge move to the downside, 15 minutes before the open. Are you expecting to get a massive 50 handle run right now or 100 in the next 14 minutes before the open? And is your stop loss being managed accordingly as well? So very easy to cancel out or to filter out possible trades, to take. But all in all, you can see here is no fair value gap has formed on the 1 minute. Price is moving sideways. You can see these candles are just painting back and forth, right? So price has no rush and going longer. It's very comfortable in this price area. We do have an inversion, or not an inversion, but a volume imbalance, right? Which price tapped into once, twice, 3 times. Okay. Is this meaningful right now? This volume imbalance? No, but it's just want to take your eyes to it. So you start looking at them moving forward. Right. Prices. I think it's attempting to break this end dog here. You can see that it's closing right at the bottom of the end dog of 1-3. But what I want to see is I want to see it drop lower right now. Take out like this low, chop the market, and then start reversing higher. Right now, I think the stage that we have for the 9:30, it looks good. Looking at the 1 hour here on the top left, we had a bearish close into sell side below us. And then the RTH gap, so today's 9:30 gap, it is going to be pretty significant. It's going to be around like 160 pips. So, at a minimum, seeing a trade to the midpoint would be nice. And then if it's trading to the midpoint, it might actually go back into the midnight opening range. If it does get there, see how it respects these levels, if it's in a rush to push through them with speed, or if it's going to be rejecting and going lower. So that's going to be the the consensus for today. The price right now is pushing to the upside. It just broke the end dog. We got 13 minutes left till open. This would have been a beautiful trade, but there's always next time. I was very happy with how I managed it. If I pushed my stop loss lower and risked more on NFP, I would be very uncomfortable with this trade. All right, you're just holding it through chop. And this is, in my opinion, luck. Getting out of this consolidation and then pushing finally higher. Okay. What did price do here? It traded above the end dog. You can see price right now spiked below it, tapped the upper quadrant of the end dog, and it's slowly digging into this sell side SIBI or sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Okay. Price, it's still closed within somewhat the upper half of the end dog. If this candle just pushes higher, that's going to be a fair rejection of the end dog. Always look at body closes versus wicks. So even though price is trading to the downside right now without it closing, it doesn't mean that this is like it's not going to respect the end dog. So there you go. There's a push higher. It's currently trading above the end dog. Let's see if it's going to close like this. If the bodies are going to close above the midpoint of the end dog, the moment it starts closing below it, that's our first sign that this specific support level right now at 918, it may not be holding how we want it to hold, but it looks like it is going to hold. So you can see the bodies are still closing above the end dog. So it is acting as support. The clearest indication is a rejection from it. So speed away from it with a 50-second fair value gap forming. And then if we have some kind of position to take long from there, then you'd use a 15-second to go long from here. But right now it's too close to the open to take anything. This area right here is very balanced, right? Price, like this is price moved back and forth many times, right? So it traded very efficiently. That's how you can see consolidation. Price is finally pushed below the end dog. It's trading within this consolidation here. So I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break from my end. We'll be back at 9:45. And then we're going to watch 9:30 all the way to 10:30 or 11, depending on how price is going to be printing. So I will be right back. All right. I am back. Okay. We're opening up in 6 minutes. So I have my groceries delivered to my front door, and the delivery guy decided to leave the groceries behind my car. And my next door neighbor, he rang on my door and he's like, saw the delivery guy leave your groceries behind your car. And I'm like, oh, good. But I've never have noticed. So that's people for you. Oh, okay. So where are we at right now in the range? We are in the latest price run. We're trading in a discount right now, right? We're in the lowest quadrant of this run. Okay. We've got liquidity sitting below us. We got a lot of great levels above us. NFP took price to the downside, right? Something that we wanted to see. And right now, what we're going to be looking for is it's going to be one of two things. This price is going to take this NFP delivery as a sign to continue moving price lower. But what I want to see is some kind of Judah to the downside, rejection, and start targeting the midpoint of the RTH gap, and then start pushing into the opening range and past it into the highs. That would be the clearest delivery for me, in my opinion. And you can see here, price is doing a really good job of rejecting this volume imbalance on the weekly, the midpoint of, or this order block in general, price unable to break it multiple times. This is kind of what I want to see here. So the weekly is kind of aligning with my thoughts. The daily, the levels of liquidity below and above us. So all in all, I do want to see it going up, but I also see ways where price can go against my thoughts and my bias and start targeting liquidity at 29.73 and lower. Okay. So 4 hour here. If price decides to push lower and higher, it's going to be a low test, again, indicating bullish strength. So let's have a keen eye, a close eye on what price is going to do post 930. Remember today's NFP as well. Price can be a bit wonky. It's really one of two things. Price is just going to run in a direction, or it's going to do nothing or be very messy. But I do think that there's a clean enough bias for upside delivery today. So let's see here. Lows have been disturbed. Highs are still intact here. Even this wick right here from the use candle, it just left relative equal highs within the midnight opening range. And when I see this pierce, I do want to see it pierce past it and above the midnight opening range. And that's when I'll be confident that it's not going to go back below it and then push higher. So if we are in a trade, stop losses are going to be pushed right to the edge of the midnight opening range. Right. 30 seconds till open. Or sorry, not 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds till open. You got technically look how price is reacting to this volume imbalance that we've been noted a couple of minutes ago. It's just interesting to see price just bounce off it so many times. All right, definitely not a random level. Maybe that might be easier for you guys to look at my charts. I'll make the 1 hour a bit bigger and the rest of the windows a bit smaller. The price tried pushing below this volume imbalance. It looks like it's rocketing back up. We've got a minute and a half left till the open. So now we're just going to sit in our hands and we're going to see what price action wants to show us today. And if we can materialize the move and see if we can get in and ride with the price. Okay, opening range. It's going to look something like this. So our opening range from Wednesday settlement price is 164 handles, nice and healthy. If price decides to dig into this and I even pass the first quadrant and just drop lower, might be indications to the downside, but I do want to see a Judah to the downside first before we start moving up. And then here's our midpoint right here. This is midpoint. So let's label this as the midpoint of our TH gap. Or technically gaps are not midpoints, or consequent encroachments. If ICT were to see this, I'd get my hand slapped. There you go. That's better. Okay, so we have opened. All right. Price dug into it just by a bit. Let's push into the downside here. Here are the pre-open lows. This might be a target that I might try to attack immediately. We do have like a fair value up here, but it's seeking pain if it's going to reverse and go to the upside. It's pushing into this order block here. I do not want to see a reverse here and go higher. I do want to see it go lower. Okay, it's trading into this volume imbalance once again. Rejected price many times in the past. But let's see it break it to the downside, hopefully. It just created relative equal lows here with these two candles. This is engineered liquidity. Price came back up, filled in some of the gap, pushed lower. Perfect. Okay. We're also looking for, as always, the first fair value gap of after 9:30. So on the 15-second, I still don't see it. I don't see it on the 1 minute chart yet. So let's continue waiting. I'm liking these relative equal highs here. Are they relatively equal? No, they're not. They almost are. But it's just interesting, like seeing these highs here. It's not a high probability, relative equal high, but they are relatively equal. All right, price is pushing into these two fair value gaps here that have been noted in orange. We're waiting for price to turn around essentially and to start pushing up. Nothing here is indicating that yet. I did find our first fair value gap after 9:30 right here. Let's mark this as green. Am I fast enough here? Fair value gap, 15-second. So here's the first fair value gap on the 15-second chart. We don't have one yet on the, so it created it, came up, touched it to the downside. This is a nice reaction here. Let's see here. It never created a fair value gap off of it though. So usually when it creates them, it trades into them, you want to see it create some kind of gapping above it, indicating that price is going to create strength off of it. And then you want it to trade back into that fair value gap and push higher. So here we had an instant rebalance, push to the upside. Price went to what? I guess this mini fair value gap that we created after the 9:30 open. It's not the first fair value gap that we'll be trading off of. So we got to wait for a bit more here. Okay, price tagged this first fair value gap on the 15-second chart. Let's see if it's going to create. Okay, this is good. I wanted to see create some kind of fair value gap after this here. This is going to be blue. Okay. If it comes back down to this, I might take a small buy. It's a high risk trade, by the way, guys. I'm expecting that this is the low of the market. And off of this push and this fair value gap here on the 15 second, I'm going to be entering right here, right below this one. They pushed into that first fair value gap. So I'm going to buy one contract here. With my stop sitting below the midpoint of, you know what, it's going to be below the low of the market here. So slowly, I'm going to enter one more contract once you get into this blue area here. Again, this is relatively high risk here. This is more for the push to the upside. I'm going to buy a second contract here. I need this to hold right now. Relative equal highs above us. And price right now. My stop loss is sitting right here. We'll see if this 15-second fair value gap holds. Bodies are still closing within this fair value up here. This I'm not liking right now. But we are in the trade. All right, tagged out. So that is a model of ICT, fair value gap creation, rejection, and then off of the first fair value gap, the longer short. All right. But I am okay with that. All right, price right now wants to break this first fair value gap on the 15-second chart. Looks like it's rejecting it. It's using this blue one as an inversion. I still don't have any first fair value gap on the 1 minute here. We have relative equal lows below us now formed because of this push. So we got liquidity here. Rejection of the upper half of the first fair value gap on the 15-second. But right now, price is just moving sideways at this point. This initial breakout, it failed. It's probably going to grab this liquidity here below us, these relative equal lows. I'm still looking for longs today. I'm not going to let this one loss affect my next trade. This level I'm not liking below us. It's probably going to get tagged any second now. Price tried using this as resistance, pushed back down. Right now, price most likely is going to be tagging these relative equal lows here. And there is the tag. I'm liking these relative equal highs here. They did reject the end dog of 103. So again, like further upside targets that price might want to target. We do have a liquidity right here. Next low that I might be targeting on the 1 minute chart. Okay, tagged. And right now, we got news lows. A reversal point might be at 950 at that macro. All right, so the first fair value gap on the 1 minute, it might form here. I'm already indicated as dark green. Price in 1 second. Okay, so this is the first fair value gap on 1 minute. Okay, so for me to take a long, I'd want to see this broken to the upside. Let's look at this midpoint here on this wick to the downside. I just want to see how it's reacting to it, if it's going to be supported or if it's going to break in 5 minutes from now. Okay, so that line right there that we have on the 15-minute chart on the top right is the midpoint. Right. Price right now is still trading below this first minute fair value gap on the downside. No interest to the upside now at this point. Price might be targeting these relative equal lows here below us. Let me transpose that to the 1 minute. If price gets that low, it might tag it before reversing. So a move that would be nice to see would be lower price action, a reversal, and then we go higher. Price is engineering relative equal lows here on the 15 second, so it's most likely going to keep dropping down. If I was looking for scalps here, it wouldn't be long scalps until we break this first minute fair value gap here. Right. Questionable relative equal lows here that have been taken. Price push into the first fair value gap on the 1 minute. Didn't even get to half point, midpoint, consequent encroachment. It's pushing back lower. Most likely, I think it's going to start tagging these relative equal lows here on the 15 second. And they've been tagged. And right now what price is going to be doing is, we'll see. We will see. The 950 macro is going to commence in 8 minutes. Let's note it here on the 1 minute chart so we can see it visually once it passes that time frame. This is when the price should start to supercharge to a direction. I'm hoping it's to the upside. The risk with trying to take 15-second price action like this is sometimes you do catch it, but because the 1 minute hasn't fully formed, it's any underlying bias that was more of a high risk trade as I denoted. But sometimes you see these trades play out more often than not. Okay, price is pushing right now into the midpoint of the first fair value gap here. Let's see how it's going to react to it. Bodies right now on the 15-second are still closing below it. Don't see any bullish price action here yet. Hi, Dom, had a really great day. Hey, GB. Taking any good trades? right? Prices sticking. You can see the 15-minute how it's respecting the first fair value gaps lows here. Bodies aren't passing by it. If I were to guess, I think it's going to start pushing lower here again. Oh, wow. Really nice. Those are nice profits. Price is attempting like an instant rebalance here. It closed the majority of the candle. It left a small volume imbalance here on the 15-second chart. Let me turn this red. Okay. 950 is going to be in 6 minutes from now. Price is attempting to break this first fair value up on the 1 minute. We'll see if it manages. First body closed at midpoint. This low is questionable here. Remember, we still got liquidity sitting below us here. I'm not crazy to how it's rejecting this first minute fair value gap here on the 1 minute. Bodies are still closing to like below midpoint here. So we'll have to see how the 1 minute closes in 20 seconds. Because this candle just closes to the downside here. I would expect these lows to be taken next. Okay, price finally closed above it. But let's see how the next candle is going to react to it. In 3 seconds, it's going to close. Yes, that's a bullish rejection off of the 15 fair value gap. Bodies are still closing to the downside of it. Really tempted to take a nifty short here. Okay. Okay, I am short. I'm targeting these lows right here. Sorry, I can't draw fast here. Partial out in a sec. It tags these lows. I'm partialing one contract. Okay. And then I do want to take C44 being taken out right now. Okay, my stop's at break even. This is the unfortunate thing of trading. So I took a short right there. And then and my final trade, I wanted to close down there. Come on, a bit more. Show me some love. $44, buy limit, 1. Okay. And then I'll have my finals at 971. So 971 is my final target here. Let's see if I can catch it to the downside. I got my stop sitting right here. Above this high here. But like right now, like where price is right now, is it going to reverse here? Or is it going to continue going to these relative equal lows here that we've denoted on the 1 hour? So we'll see. I'm in profits at least for the day again. But let's see. Like what gave it away here was like the 15-second reactions to this first fair value gap here. Once price breaks this my bias is wrong. I've only one mini right now left, or sorry, one micro. So I can't partial out any further. But let's see how it's going to react to this fair value up here. And then once it starts breaking higher than this one, then I'm definitely wrong. I'm offside again. The 950 macro is going to kick in any second now. Going to be a 140 handle trade if it hits target. Right on the 1 minute, we got a fair value up here. Let's see how it's going to react to that. And then got another one right here. Once it pushes below this low, I'm trailing my stop to below these highs here. Once it starts breaking this fair value up here to the upside, I'm not interested anymore. If this is left open, this is going to be seen as a breakaway gap. I'm going to have my stop sitting right above the midpoint of it right here right now at 88. For $30. Okay. Come on, price. Okay, we are in the 950 macro right now. We did take liquidity here. It might just been the news low. I just want to see how it's going to react to this fair value. If the bodies close above it, I might just close it. But if the bodies stay within it, I'm going to keep it open. Okay. That's good to see. That was a nice rejection here off of. Okay. Moving my stop loss above here. Once it gets tagged here, I'm out for the trade. I don't want to trade it any longer. Okay. All right, out for a couple bucks for 300 altogether. Could you imagine? It just wicks me out and went lower here. Am I going to go back into this trade? We'll see. This is bearish price action here. Okay, I'm taking it lower. I'm in it once again for 150, and I'm targeting 970. We'll see here. This is my trade here. So this was the wick above these relative equal highs, and I do want to see a trade lower now. Either I'm correct or I'm not. But this is really nice price action to the downside. These relative equal lows here, they are pulling price. It just, the macro right now has to kick in and push lower here. If I hit stop loss, I am break even for the day. I'm going to lock myself out. If not, this hits target, then I should be up for 550. But we'll see. We'll see. Come on, price. You want to go lower here. This would be a weird place for you to reverse. We got relative equal lows below us. Right here. I think this is going to get attacked first before it takes me out. Yeah, today's NFP day as well. I got my stop actually now sitting just above the fair value gap here. If it hits the fair value gap, there's no reason for price to go back up to the upper half of the fair value. It already filled it in. It took sell stops. So we'll see what's gonna happen here. There you go. Price is still sticking below the lower half of this C. Still being respected nicely. Once it takes these equal lows here, am I going to trail stop loss? Let's see. I might go to break even. It's not myself trading usually, but just want to see how it's going to respect these equal relative lows here before it pushes lower. It has to tag them. I'd be surprised if it just leaves them open and starts pushing higher. This is like the obvious price run for the next 1 minute to take out these lows here. Yeah, drinks on GB. Price is in no rush right now to go anywhere. It's just moving sideways here. Not loving it, but we're in the 1050 macro, and I do think that these lows are going to be taken here. I don't see any, just doesn't make sense for price to reverse up. Like, where would it go? It can go possibly into this SIBI here on the 1 minute, but it's because if failed to here, I don't think it's going to go and grab it. Am I going to be wrong on this one? I don't want to see price pierce this constant encroachment. So price stopped at the very bottom of this fair value gap here on the 1 minute using the 15-second chart. It rejected lower. What price is going to do after this consolidation is just going to pick a side, I think. There's all these lows below us here. This fair value gap has been incorrectly drawn by me. Okay, price push back into it. Okay, price doesn't hold here, then great idea is done. I'm gonna move my stop loss below those two highs there that has formed. Stop loss is right there now. For $100. Very messy PA right now. This really sucks. And I'm out. Okay. All right. So relative equal lows have been left here. Price went higher. That might be it for me for today. We'll see. I really thought that second entry here would push me lower. So altogether, that trade with that loss put me to plus 250 on all my accounts, $45 per account. I'm not interested in longs right now at all. Just because of these levels here below us. We're still below the first fair value gap on the 1 minute. Yeah, upside. Yeah, upside's a target. It's just, I'm waiting for, when am I going to be confident that it's not going to go down any lower? So, price right now, we just pushed into the SIBI here. We rejected it aggressively. It's sitting on the upper half of this inversion. So it's still, the bodies are still closing within this fair value gap here. I think it's going to hunt these relative equal lows below us. Like my eyes are still here. But is this the inversion where price just decides to? This is here. This is all liquidity, right? See, there you go. Fucking price. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's been taken. Nice. See, oh my gosh. See, regardless, I would have been taken out. My stop was there, but my stop had to be higher. Maybe I should have held my trade, my first one. Okay. These lows here are most likely being the next target for price. All right, and the draw has been taken. Almost. It's at the cusp of being hit. As you can see here how the first fair value gap, it provided support to the downside. After the final manipulation, the push. Right, is price gonna go? Is it gonna turn around? Guys, I don't know. It's 10 o'clock. Where are you going to price now? So it's taking all this liquidity out. The way we can see this is at 11:30, we might see the lunchtime macro start taking highs. But all in all, like, if it is going to reverse, it has to be around this level. But we can't catch the bottom. Bad idea. So price took out liquidity here. Let's see on the 1 minute how it's going to react. Overall price action was clean today. Oh, I accidentally erased my second trade here. That's where I got stopped out at. And price went lower. Let's see here. So technically right now we'd want to see some kind of big reaction, big move from this level. If longs are even to be considered. But as markets gyrate, let's see what happened to my beautiful XRP. Perfect. Dropping even more. 228. Okay. So today, twice, the thing I have to work on is like stop loss management, but I got tagged out here. Okay, I got tagged out here. It's just by wicks. So the direct, it's just the wicks doing the damage again. You guys can see my weak spot here. It's when it comes to stop loss management and trailing. That's when usually price nicks me. So it's something I need to work on for 2025. But also like on Wednesday as well, I got wicked out as well. Okay. Let's look at the 4 hour here. What's price doing? We got this huge gap right here, the midpoint of it. Let's just map it out so we're aware of it. Oh, Okay, so there is the midpoint on the 4 hour. Let's see on the daily here. I don't really use a 4 hour much, but let's see. We're gonna use a larger wick. You know what? Let's do this instead. This is going to be the next influential wick that we're going to be using. The daily I like a lot more. That's where the midpoint is. Okay, so this is the midpoint of daily wick. So let's see how it's gonna, react to that. If it's gonna stay above it and start reversing after taking liquidity, or is it gonna continue dropping today? And this might be the market just continue dropping. Okay, so tag the midpoint of the daily wick right now. Price is very bearish. So I'm probably not going to stream up until 11:30, but if I do see a possible trade at 11:30, I might post it at the Discord group of longs that I'm looking for, but it's going to be the lunchtime macro. So what we're going to be looking for is we're going to look at the first low that was formed after 10 o'clock and before 11:30, and that's going to be our target, and I'm going to be looking for reversals. Because after a day like this, price tends to reverse around 11:30, taking out that low before continuing to go lower. So that's that.